Hey guys, what is up? Spartan Grunt, Lucky Old Gamer, whatever the hell you want to call me. I'm here today with another Let's Talk About video. And today, as you can see on the screen, we'll be talking about Nazis or video games, whatever. World War II video games, basically. And just from looking at the screen here, I watched a little bit of the video already just to see like a little bit, so I've only watched the start. And 12k likes. 138 dislikes. Okay. That's a pretty big difference. I was watching Birdman or No Bullshit's video on it, and I watched a little bit and I was like, you know what? I should do a video on this too. Because, it's just kind of stupid. And since this is kind of like my own podcast type thing now, I figured that I should do something on it. So let's watch it.
There you are, playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a Nazi. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. Yet there it is. And it's treated no differently than playing a Brit.
Yeah? Okay, hey guys, third time's the charm, right? So this is, Hey guys, I'm Spartan Grunt, or Lucky Old Gamer, or whatever you want to call me. I'm not enthusiastic because this is the third time I've done this intro. You might hear the first one, but you're not gonna hear, you might hear the second one, but you're not gonna hear the first one. God damn it. What are some real killing, this is going to be an episode of Let's Talk About, so it's basically a podcast on video games, and I'm just so enthusiastic now because I've done this intro too many times. Blah blah, extra credits, they're talking about subnormalizing Nazis. I've watched the first 15 minutes 5 times actually. 12k likes to 138k dislikes, haha, funny, let's just get into the video. Sorry about that shit intro, you'll probably hear the first, or the second, third, whatever one I did before.
There you are, playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a Nazi. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. Yet there it is. And it's treated no differently than playing a British soldier.
If you I've said this in all the other ones, but if you go into a war game and you think that you're never gonna play, like if you're going to play multiplayer and stuff, and you think you're never gonna be a Nazi, you're an idiot. You will always play a Nazi in a World War game, like any game. Call of Duty, you're always gonna play like a bad guy. Whether like Modern Warfare, I think it was, where you go into airport, you shoot up the place. You don't have to, but everyone pulls the trigger because let's be honest, it's more fun to kill people. Like when you get a game like a shooter game, you know that you're gonna play as a bad guy at some point, whether it's for multiplayer or single player, except for like Halo and stuff. But you should expect to play as the bad guys at some point. If you do not expect that, you're an idiot.
This is bad on so many levels. No one should ever have a random chance of fighting for the Nazis. And we should never express that there's no meaningful difference between Nazis and Allied soldiers, or that they're functionally interchangeable.
What? Who the hell says that Nazi soldiers and frickin' Allied soldiers are the same? They're fighting for different causes, for fuck's sake. Mate, you know the Nazis, how they killed how they were like doing gas chamber shit and stuff like that? Yeah? Well, they're the same as the Allied soldiers. Don't ask me how, because I don't know. I can't tell you exactly how, but they are exactly the same.
And before anyone equivocates and says not all German soldiers in World War II were Nazis, if they were
Accurate.
wearing the swastika and are functioning as an arm of the Nazi government, then unless the game goes out of its way to tell you specifically that your particular character is not a Nazi, then they're a Nazi.
Fun fact. If you go back to okay, so let's remember we're at 50 seconds. Where is it? Alright.
Yet there it is.
Look at that. That's not a swastika. Where's the swastikas on them? So you're not playing as a Nazi then? Oh yeah. Fucking dumbass. You don't need a swastika to prove that you're a Nazi. Swastikas don't mean that you're a Nazi. Swastikas, and give me a second, I'm just going to Google this, because in a certain country, I forgot which one it is, or like place, swastikas are like all about peace and shit. That's why the Germans chose it. Swastika. What, really? Swastika, an ancient symbol in the form of an equal-armed cross, with each arm continued at a right angle, used in clockwise form as the emblem of the German Nazi Party. But where's the other thing? Wait, give me a second. Swastika. This is on Wikipedia, so I don't know how trustworthy this is. Blah 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 blah. Religious and an ancient religious icon in the cultures of, can't pronounce that, Eurasia. I'm guessing that's Europe and Asia combined. It is used as a symbol of divinity and spirituality in Indian religions. I'm not gonna read through all this. Basically, it's like swastikas were like a peace thing, and like good. Like swastikas were good, and then that's why the Germans chose it, and then it turned into a bad thing because because Nazis wore it. Okay, let's continue this video. Let's go back to here.
Your particular character is not a Nazi, then they're a Nazi. In that multiplayer shooter, when it switched you to the German side, did it go out of its way to tell you that the person you're playing was pressed into service under threat of their life? Yeah, that's a big old nope.
Well, I mean, of course not. Like, unless you're playing a game solely with like the purpose of that. If you're playing a World War game, like multiplayer or something, and you're going on to the Nazi side, you're not going on the side thinking, oh yeah, this guy, he either chose to be on the Nazi side, or has been forced into it. The poor bastard. His family was probably threatened, which actually happened in the war. You go into it thinking, I need to beat the other team. You don't give a shit if you're a Nazi. Everyone knows the Nazis are bad. No one's going to go, well, I mean, some dipshits are, maybe for a joke, which, if they're joking about it, it's okay, but, I mean, some dipshits might go, yeah, Nazis were the coolest thing that ever happened, and they're just fuckwits. But the thing is, no one goes into something like that, into a video game, a war video game, going, yeah, Nazis are cool, I like Nazis. Like, I like shooting Nazis in video games. I like playing as the Nazis, because then you get to see a different perspective. If, like, in stories, you see different things. You don't see just running around killing Nazi soldiers. Some Nazi as you know, in the war, some Nazi soldiers were actually good people. Yet they still died. Sucks.
Oh, and on a similar note, let's please stop forcing people to play as terrorists as well. There you are, playing your modern shooter, and all of a sudden you're a terrorist. You didn't ask for this, you didn't choose this, and yet, second verse, same as the first. There it is.
Again, you could be playing as a terrorist the whole game, and you wouldn't, and like, you might not even know it. Because you're doing, like, what you think you're doing is right. It's the same with the Nazis. They thought what they were doing was right. Well, some of them knew that it wasn't, but it's like, come on. Like, you think you're the good guy in games normally. Like, unless you're playing GTA or something, you think you're the good guy. Like, if you go into GTA not expecting to be a bad guy, the fuck are you doing? You're in the wrong game. Get out. Like, it's just so dumb. Like, again, Modern Warfare, you get put in that scene where you shoot people. You don't have to shoot them, but everyone did shoot them because they were told to shoot them. You know in that scene you are a terrorist. The game doesn't tell you you're a terrorist. Or at least I don't believe it does. It's been a while since I played the game, so it might actually tell you. I'm not sure. But just for the sake of this, you do not know you're a terrorist. Like, you are not told that you're a terrorist, but you still know you are a terrorist. And same with multiplayer. One side's the good side, I think that's probably the Black Ops team. Then the other side is the bad side. You don't care what side you're on. You just want to win.
I mean, that's literally the name of your side in the game.
If you're playing CSGO, and you don't expect to be a terrorist, you're a fucking dumbass. Like, I'm playing as a terrorist in CSGO. Sometimes playing the terrorist is fun, let's be honest. Sometimes you're like, please, I want to be the terrorist. Like, especially in CSGO, because, in my opinion, the terrorists normally have the better guns. Like the AK and stuff. Like, they're the better guns. And it's, like, if you go into CSGO thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna play as the good guys for the whole time, you're an idiot. Like, it's literally, the trailer that came out for it literally showed terrorists and CTs. And it followed the terrorists more than the counter-terrorists.
We can do better than this. Even if you put aside all of the people who have had traumatic experiences with these groups, who have lost loved ones to terrorists, or who have had generations of their families wiped out by Nazis, no one should have to put on the costume of an ideology they find abhorrent.
You're not putting on the costume. You're playing a fictional game, or, well, with Battlefield and stuff, a realist game based on real events, and you're playing it not as if you're playing as a terrorist. You're being a terrorist. You're not actually a terrorist. You're pretending to be a terrorist. Like, you don't go into a freaking war movie and see someone being a bad guy being piece of shit. He's a Nazi. You wanna know how I know that? Because he's wearing Nazi clothes, so he has to be a Nazi. You're acting. Like, how dumb can you be to think that that's like a valid argument? Like, I just want to. I understand. Oh shit, cat's on. Give me a second.
Without actual.
Sorry. Sorry guys, one of my Nazi cats attacked one of my other cats, my ally cats. I can tell because it's... Actually, I'm not going to say that, that's racist. Oh boy, that was close. Yeah, but I understand, like, people, like, family, like, could be taken out by terrorists and stuff, but the thing is, that's not what the game's doing. Unless you're making, like, a game based on those, like, World War II. Unless you're making a game showcasing people getting in the gas chambers, and it says, pull it, and you have to pull it no matter what, otherwise you can't progress to the game. Then I can understand that more. But what game does that? None. I don't know a single game that makes you gas a Jew or something. Like, it's just so stupid, man. I literally forgot their argument because I just instantly blocked it out because it's so dumb. Like, if you're a war victim, or you know someone who's a war victim, and you go into a war game, why? Like, if you might have PTSD or something from it. So why the hell would you go into a war game? Like, that's just stupid. And normally the people that play the war games are kids, so it doesn't make sense anyway. They wouldn't have gone through shit. I'm just so baffled.
Actually opting into it in your game. And by making people do so, we get them to stop thinking about it, to stop thinking of the meaning behind these things.
Everyone knows Nazis are bad. It's teached in school. Everyone knows it. Games aren't coming in and saying, hey guys, you're playing as Nazis, so they're not that bad. I promise. Nazis are pretty good, guys. don't go around going, oh yeah, dude, I love Nazis, man, unless you're joking with mates about it. Yeah, I love Nazis, woo. I can't really think of a Nazi joke at the moment, but no one's going around freaking laughing about Nazis and shit, saying, dude, those were the good old days when where you could get away with gassing a Jew. Just, no one does that. No one thinks that being a Nazi was that Nazis are okay. No one. And the thing, if you're saying, like, this video is so dumb, because people use the Nazi terms so bad. Like, remember when people used to go, dude, shut up, you're so gay, like as an insult. That's what the word Nazi has turned into these days. If you don't agree with someone's political opinion, wow, I turned this back into politics really fast, Jesus Christ, well I guess it kinda had to end up going there. They call you a Nazi. Like, come on, that's dumb. Everyone knows you're not a Nazi. If you were a Nazi, you'd be going around killing people. You're not advocating for killing people most of the time. You're advocating for them to get help. Or something along those lines. Just something like that. Like, people calling you a Nazi for not wanting, illegal immigrants, to come into your country. That's just common sense. They're illegal. They can come into the country legally, but they don't want to because they know they won't be allowed to come in, which is dumb. It's so they resort to the other way, and people are trying to defend that. You shouldn't be allowed to come into the country illegally. Like, no country. And I'm an Australian, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing people say that Aboriginals, like how Australians took over their land, like quote unquote Australians took over their land. Yeah, we did. We fought a war, kinda, and we won. You're lucky you didn't all die. Be grateful of that. that was a joke, by the way. Just had to say that. That was a joke. Obviously, what happened there was bad. But the thing is, Aboriginals were the least advanced race of humans. Without us, they might have only just figured out now how to start a fire. There's no way they would have figured out how to make an airplane or anything along those. How to make a car, for God's sake. They wouldn't have figured that out. They wouldn't be that far. They wouldn't know how to make a train. They wouldn't know how to make a gun. They wouldn't be that far. Yet. So us coming here, even though we did kill a lot of them, I can admit, that is bad. That should not have happened. Even though, when they charged the farmers with spears and shit, that's when they got shot, normally. Sure, some of them may have gotten hunted. That is bad. I'm not defending those people. I'm defending the people that got charged by Aboriginals, so then the Aboriginals got killed. It's so dumb. And apparently the Aboriginals actually killed a whole race. I'm not sure if it was a race of animals or humans, but they killed a race. Ew. Like, did we kill? No, we killed. No, we killed Tasmanian tigers, didn't we? Or was that did they die from a disease? I don't know. Sorry, let's continue with the video.
We normalize them. We make them just window dressing for entertainment. Those uniforms, those symbols, become things that no longer inherently revolt us. They reduce our visceral reaction to seeing the embodiment of these ideologies.
You wanna know what else does that? School. You can bring this argument to school, because in school they bring up Nazis and shit so much that you don't expect. When you first hear about what the Nazis did, you're like, no human could have done that. There's no way. I refuse to believe that. And now, not because I've played video games, because I've watched war movies, I've talked about war so freaking much, it's like, yeah, Nazis exist. They were terrible people. Yeah, but most of them no longer exist, so it's fine. And if any of them do exist, they would probably be killed anyway, let's be honest. Yeah. But it's it's not video games that are making us go, oh yeah, Nazis. Yeah. Like, sure, they might not help they might not help with that. But with all the war movies, Saving Private Ryan, Fury, Dunkirk, they're all there. No one goes, they're making us just not care about Nazis anymore. Because they show Nazis are bad, but they don't make us go, oh my god, I hate those fucking Nazis, oh my god. It's like, yeah, Nazis existed. And same with learning about them in class. You don't get told, like, you get told what they did, but you don't get told graphically, like, how games show it. Games and movies can show you how bad it really was. Talking can't. Sure, you can visualize it, but normally, like, at least with my class, like they would talk about it, but they wouldn't go, like, in depth, like, the people getting gassed and stuff. Like, it was, yeah, Jews got put in gas chambers and murdered. That's about it. You don't know how much they suffered during the camps. You know the camps was bad, but I was never really told, at least in school, how bad the camps really were until I watched a World War II movie. Like, you just don't hear about it.
Apologies. Now, does this make us totally ignore the history that comes with them? No. But for some people, it moves them from the territory of revolting to just edgy. It makes scrawling a swastika on something change from unthinkable to just dangerous.
What? First off, why is he spray painting an animal? That's just dumb. I'm so sick of shit like this coming out. Just people being so dumb to think stuff like this will fly and is normal. Like, how stupid can you be?
It means you might not take iron crosses all over a website as a warning sign that you should immediately leave. And if you don't leave, you might start reading and buying into hateful ideas there. It seems.
If you buy into hateful Nazi ideas, you need to seek help. But I'm just so unenthusiastic. Because this video is so dumb. You know what? I said I'd do it in the last video. Boom. Dislike. Because this video is just so stupid. No, how can anyone believe this is accurate?
Seems like such a small and simple thing. But it's things like this that erode our safeguards against dangers we sacrifice so much to fight.
You're kidding. You have to normalize this stuff. This rape. Everyone knows rape is bad. Is it normalized? No. No one's going, what? You want to rape her? Oh, okay. Whatever. Oh, you want to be a Nazi? Okay, whatever. Ooh, German website. Let's have a look at this. Ooh. Dark web website about selling girls. Let's look at this. Like, are you dumb? Maybe that's an unfair comparison, but it's just so dumb to think that it's being normalized by getting shown more. Like, it's just so stupid. Everyone knows rape is bad. Everyone knows murder is bad. Everyone knows, I don't know, freaking terrorism is bad. Everyone knows Nazis are bad. But it doesn't normalize it. If it normalized it, wanting to be a Nazi, you would see it as normal. No one sees wanting to be a Nazi as normal. No one sees wanting to murder someone as normal. It's a problem, and you should seek out help for why you feel like this. Go talk to someone about why you feel like this. Because it's not normal. It's wrong.
By the time you've played 100 hours of being a Nazi, their voice stabs become memes and in-jokes with your friends. By the 1,000th time you've respawned as a terrorist, you're either celebrating them or making fun of them.
Yeah, you're celebrating because you're winning. You're not celebrating because you like being a terrorist. You're celebrating because you're winning the game. Because otherwise, you wouldn't be playing the game. If you didn't want to win, what's the fucking point in playing the game? I don't understand. where this logic is going. I'm waiting for there to be a logical point, but it's just not coming. Like, what the hell? Where's the logic behind this? I don't understand. There's no logic. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, it's normalizing it. It's not. Like, it's making people know about it more, which is normalizing it. And freaking, when you hear Nazi in a game kill someone, you don't laugh, because normally you focus on a game. You're not paying attention to that shit normally. Like, sometimes you might be and you're like, oh shit, what did you just say? Yeah. Like, you're just walking around in a game, someone comes at you, you stab him, Nazi says, Schweitenhauser! And then you're like, okay, keep going. Because, like, you don't know what it means. You can't understand it. Now, if you were playing a terrorist game, and they said, death to all Americans, like, you're like, holy shit, that's our style. You understand that it's bad, but the thing is, you don't care, because it's a game. It's fictional. Like, with Nazis, it's real, but there's still points of fiction in it. I mean, for fuck's sake, look at the new Battlefield game, Battlefield 5. If you're telling me that's realistic, you're an idiot. No German black women were fighting with the Nazis, mate. Like, come on, no women were fighting with the Nazis. Like, how stupid are you? And that's gonna be another point that I talk about after the video.
Neither of which helps the global crisis we have that takes thousands of lives every year. So what do we do?
But, sorry.
Thousandth time you've respawned as a terrorist, you're either celebrating them or making fun of them. Neither of which helps the global crisis we have that takes thousands of lives every year.
So he's talking about Nazis and terrorists taking thousands of lives? Or is he talking about just thousands of people losing life, like dying in general? Because then we can go look at freaking car crashes, vending machines, freaking crushing someone, which is more likely to happen than a shark attack. Which is actually kind of funny when you think about it. You're more likely to die from a vending machine than a shark. It's just so dumb. Like, ugh.
So what do we do? That's easy. Don't make them morally equivalent. Don't make there be no in-game moral difference between your Nazis and your allies, between your terrorists and your counter-terrorist squads. Frame PvP as a training exercise, or simply take one of your non-odious sides and recolor them so that it's red versus blue.
So make it TF2. Don't do that. If you want to keep it realistic, don't do that.
Rather than Axis versus allies.
We're not... Just keep going.
A good example of a game that does this is Rainbow Six Siege. All of your bomb diffusion and hostage rescue multiplayer with no normalizing terrorists. In fact, by having all of the characters as counter-terrorists training for a possible threat, it highlights how real and present of a threat that is. And if you decide that you need to have both sides be playable, don't make them interchangeable. Don't have players randomly spawn in as one or the other. Allow players to choose which side they're on. Now, of course, this has all sorts of in-game problems, such as creating shorter wait times for fascists, but you know what? Those wait times could be artificially extended, if it meant players had an active choice in what teams they would represent, if you're saying we need people playing now.
But then people won't play the game. If there's a longer wait time, people won't play the game because they're not getting into the game fast enough. They'll just go play a different game. Therefore, the person, well, they wouldn't lose money because people buy it in the first place, but then people would realize that the game isn't a good game, and then they wouldn't make money if they made a sequel doing the same thing.
Nazis in our games. And if you're going to say, but we need it for historical reasons,
Yes.
then your game better actually be historical. You can't really just hide behind the fact you called your desert map El Alamein and say, but it's historical. If that were the case, you need your PvP to at least represent real historical events and be a realistic take on those battles. Once you make both sides balanced, it's also no longer historical. And you can't really say that you need Nazis anymore for historical accuracy.
They make both sides balanced to make the game more fun. They, like what a game developer does, they need to make the game fun. Like with war games, they normally need to they need to make the game fun and historically accurate. Historically accurate won't go hand in hand with a fun game, because otherwise you would have 100 people versus like 50 people. That's not fun. The 50 people are gonna keep leaving, which isn't accurate to a game or to real life. You don't just leave a game, do you? It's not a game. War was never a game.
Oh, and once you let players get cool weapons that weren't actually at that particular battleground, it's also no longer historic.
Because sometimes we might not even know what weapons were at a battleground, so we have to make guesses, assumptions. And if you want purely, you still need to make the game interesting and fun to play. Otherwise, no one's gonna want to play your game. And then that's when the microtransactions won't have any costs. You won't make any money from the game after people buy it, which is what game developers do not want. So this argument is stupid. They want to keep it historically accurate, yet at the same time keep it fun. So keeping it 100% historically accurate wouldn't make any sense for the game developers to do.
Historically accurate. And you can't declare that your game will suffer if you don't put players in the jackboots of the Third Reich.
But I probably would.
And once your map is something carefully designed to have good gameplay by a team in a room in San Francisco or LA, and it's not a faithful reconstruction of the actual places the historical events occurred in, you can no longer say we need to have players take up arms in service of terror or hate. And look, we're not saying we can't have games about World War II or about terrorism. We're not even saying we shouldn't make games where you play.
This image looks really bad. Just kind of makes it look like the World War II and terrorism are angels. That's what they're making it look like. They're trying to say, which looks really bad.
Games about World War II or about terrorism. We're not even saying we shouldn't make games where you play as a Nazi or a terrorist.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
But what we are saying is that the fact that you're playing as a Nazi or a terrorist in a game has to mean something. And it can't just be a skin. It can't be something that a game randomly drops you into. And really, if we are saying anything in this episode, it's this. Games can do better. And in this particular case, it's not even that hard to do better. And it's no more costly to do better.
You're joking, right? This guy's never worked at a game company or played a game. We can tell that.
All it requires is that we in the game industry be cognizant of the world around us and what these symbols we're drawing on mean. That we think as we're building, not just about the game we're working on, but about the world as a whole. If we can do that, we can take a big step forward for the industry. We can stop helping to normalize Nazis.
Well, that video was interesting. Interesting in a retarded way. Stuff like this is just so dumb. The thing that I wanted to say, like before, is the problem with making a historically accurate game is people will be angry that the game is historically accurate, and you can't even do that because you want to create a game that's historically accurate. Fuck you, Germany, because it won't be allowed in Germany if it has swastikas. So that's why games just don't have that's why games no longer have swastikas in them, like World War II games, because it is illegal in Germany. So the game will not be allowed there. Which is just so dumb. They're rejecting a part of history. Like, no, this isn't allowed. History is not allowed to exist because it shames us. Take that history and be proud to show it. Well, not proud, but show that it existed. Don't try to just hide it away. Acknowledge it happened, you goddamn pathetic bastards. Like, it's just so dumb. And if you show a game, if you make a game that's historically accurate, people will get angry because there's no women in it, or at least the women are pretending to be men. There's no black women in it. Oh no, there's not many black people on the Nazi side. But then the game's not historically accurate. That's what happened with Battlefield 5. And then someone said, if you want the game to be, if you don't like the game, don't buy it. So people didn't buy it. So that was a laugh. But it's just so, saying shit like that is so dumb, because they need to keep the game historically accurate to an extent to keep both the players happy and people that came into the game for history happy. If you're trying to focus more on the history, you're going to lose the players, the people that just normally play the game. If you try to focus on people that just play the game normally, then you're going to lose the history of what actually happened, the actual events. You want to keep it even. Keep it evenly balanced. Oh, that's gonna be all for this video. What's your name? Extra credits? You're idiots. Peace.